What's up, everyone? So you've been working hard, saving money, and now you're thinking about paying off your mortgage early. Maybe you hate debt. Maybe Dave Ramsey told you all debt is evil. The idea of burning your mortgage sounds amazing. But here's the thing. Paying off your mortgage early might be one of the biggest financial mistakes you can make. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why, plus what you should be doing with that money instead. Let's get into it. First, let me say this. I'm not here to tell you that debt doesn't matter. What I am here to do is show you the actual math and the strategies that wealthy people use that are the complete opposite of what most personal finance gurus are telling you. Because here's the reality. Rich people don't pay off their mortgages early, and there's a very specific reason why. Let's start with the emotional side. The idea of being debt-free feels incredible. You imagine making that last mortgage payment, owning your home outright, never worrying about a monthly payment again. It's the American dream, right? Financial freedom, peace of mind, security. And look, if you're losing sleep over your mortgage, if the debt is causing you massive anxiety, then paying it off might be the right move for you emotionally. Personal finance is personal. Sometimes the math doesn't matter as much as your mental health. But here's what I need you to understand. That emotional relief comes with a massive financial cost. And most people have no idea how much money they're actually leaving on the table. So let's run the numbers. Let's say you have a $300,000 mortgage at a 3.5% interest rate. Your monthly payment is around $1,350. Now, let's say you've got an extra $500 a month that you could either put toward your mortgage or invest somewhere else. If you take that $500 and throw it at your mortgage every month, you'll pay off your loan about 10 years early. You'll save around $60,000 in interest over the life of the loan. That sounds amazing, right? Dave Ramsey would be proud. But here's what they don't tell you. If you took that same $500 every month and invested it in a basic S&P 500 index fund, averaging 8% annual returns, after 30 years, you'd have over $680,000. Let me say that again, $680,000 versus saving $60,000 in interest. So yes, you saved $60,000 by paying off your mortgage early, but you also gave up $680,000 in investment growth. That's an opportunity cost of over $600,000. You literally made yourself over $500,000 poorer by trying to be debt-free. That's not financial freedom, that's financial suicide. And here's the part that really gets me. Your mortgage is the cheapest debt you will ever have in your entire life. A 3.5% interest rate is historically incredibly low. Inflation alone is running at 3% on average, which means your real cost of borrowing is basically 0.5%. You're borrowing money almost for free after you account for inflation. Think about it. Let's say you borrowed $100 at 3.5% interest, but inflation is 3%. That means the actual cost of your loan is only 0.5%. You're paying back the bank with dollars that are worth less than the dollars you borrowed. The bank is losing money in real terms, and you want to pay it off early? That makes no sense. Meanwhile, wealthy people understand this. They're not rushing to pay off their 3% mortgages. They're taking that cheap money and putting it into investments that earn 8%, 10%, 12% or more. They're using the bank's money to build wealth. They understand leverage. Now, let me address the big counter-argument. What about the risk? What if the stock market crashes? What if I lose my job? First, if you're investing for 20 or 30 years, short-term market crashes don't matter. The stock market has always recovered and gone higher over long periods. Always. Second, let's talk about the job loss scenario. If you lose your job and you've been dumping all your extra money into paying off your mortgage, you have a paid-off house and no liquidity. You can't eat your house. You can't pay bills with your house. You'd have to sell it or take out a home equity loan, putting yourself right back into debt anyway. But if you've been investing that money instead, you have liquid assets. You can sell some stocks if you need to. You have an actual emergency fund that can cover your mortgage payment while you find a new job. Which scenario sounds safer? Here's another thing people don't think about. When you pay off your mortgage early, you're locking up hundreds of thousands of dollars in an illiquid asset that produces zero cash flow. Your house doesn't pay you rent, it just sits there, and it actually costs you money every month in property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Real estate investors understand this. They don't pay off their rental properties. They leverage them. They keep the mortgage, collect rent that covers the payment, and use the equity to buy more properties. They're building wealth through leverage and cash flow. So, what should you actually be doing with that extra money? Strategy number 1, max out your tax-advantaged retirement accounts. Before you even think about paying extra on your mortgage, max out your 401k, your IRA, your HSA. These accounts give you immediate tax benefits, tax-free growth, and way higher returns than the interest you're saving. If your employer offers a 401k match, that's literally free money, 100% instant return. If you're not taking that because you're paying down your mortgage, you're throwing away thousands every year. Strategy number 2, build a robust emergency fund. 6 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account earning 4 to 5% right now. This is your safety net. Strategy number 3, invest in index funds. Once you've maxed out retirement accounts and built your emergency fund, put that extra money in a taxable brokerage account. Buy low-cost index funds. Let compound interest work over decades. Strategy number 4, if you really hate debt, pay off high-interest debt first. Credit cards at 20%, personal loans at 12%, car loans at 7%. Those are costing you money. A 3.5% mortgage is not. Now here's where this gets really interesting. Let's talk about what wealthy people actually do. They don't just keep their mortgages, they use them strategically. They take equity out through cash-out refinancing or home equity lines of credit and invest it. Let's say you've built up $100,000 in equity. You take that out and invest it. Over 20 years, at 8% returns, that $100,000 grows to $466,000. Meanwhile, you're paying $3,500 a year on that $100,000. You're paying $3,500 to earn $8,000 to $10,000. That's a profit of $4,500 to $6,500 every year just from leveraging your equity. This is what Robert Kiyosaki talks about in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is how wealthy people think about debt. They don't fear it, they use it as a tool for building wealth. Let me give you a real-world example. 2 people, both with $300,000 mortgages at 3.5%. Person A pays off their mortgage as fast as possible. In 15 years, they're debt-free. Person B keeps the 30-year mortgage and invests. After 30 years, Person A has a paid-off house worth $500,000. Person B has a paid-off house worth $500,000 plus an investment portfolio worth $1.2 million. Person B is a millionaire. Person A is comfortable but nowhere near as wealthy. Same income, same mortgage. Completely different outcomes, all because of understanding opportunity cost and leverage. Here's another thing. Mortgage interest is tax deductible for many people. If you're in the 24% tax bracket, paying 3.5% interest, your after-tax cost is really only 2.7%. You're borrowing money at 2.7% to invest at 8% to 10%. That's a no-brainer. And inflation? When inflation runs at 3% per year, the real value of your mortgage debt shrinks by 3% every year. You borrowed $300,000 in 2020 dollars. By 2050, you're paying it back in 2050 dollars, which are way less. Meanwhile, your assets are appreciating with inflation or faster. Your assets grow while your debt shrinks in real terms. Some people say, what about peace of mind in retirement? Don't I want to lower my expenses? Sure, but here's a better question. Would you rather have a $1,500 mortgage in retirement with $1 million in investments, or no mortgage payment but only $200,000 in investments? With $1 million invested at a 4% withdrawal rate, that's $40,000 per year. Your mortgage is $18,000. You've still got $22,000 left over, plus Social Security. You're wealthy. But with only $200,000 because you spent 30 years paying off your mortgage, you can safely withdraw $8,000 per year. You own your house, but you're broke. You can't travel. You can't help your kids. That's not the retirement you want. Here's the bottom line. Paying off your mortgage early feels good emotionally, but it's financially suboptimal in almost every scenario. You're giving up hundreds of thousands of dollars in investment growth to save a small amount of interest on the cheapest debt you'll ever have. Now look, if you're 60 years old, 5 years from retirement with a huge investment portfolio, fine, pay off the mortgage. You've already built your wealth. But if you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s in your wealth building years, keeping that mortgage and investing aggressively is almost always the smarter move. The math is not even close. So, here's what you should do starting today. Stop making extra mortgage payments. Just pay the minimum. Take that extra money and max out all your tax-advantaged retirement accounts. Build a 6-month emergency fund. Invest the rest in low-cost index funds. Learn about leverage and wealth-building strategies that actually work. If this video changed how you think about your mortgage, smash that like button. Drop a comment. Are you team pay off the mortgage or team invest and leverage? And if you want more content that challenges conventional financial wisdom and shows you what wealthy people actually do, hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Now, go put that money to work and build some actual wealth.